Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be testing out some new Wet n Wild makeup. It's definitely been a minute now since Wet n Wild released something that was super eye-catching to me that they kind of released in their standard line of makeup. I know recently I feel like Wet n Wild has been focusing on more themed collection, or they had a super cute holiday collection and collaborations and stuff like that. I definitely feel like it's been a little bit since they released stuff in just their standard line of products, like their color icon or their photo focus, those products that I tend to like the most. So I recently saw that they dropped some new products. I was able to pick most of them up on Amazon. So for today's video, we are going to be testing out 4 of the new Wet n Wild products, including their Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator, their new Mega Last Incognito Concealer, their Cloud Pout liquid lipstick or liquid lip mousse, and then also their new little color icon palettes that look really good. So if this is something you guys are interested in, if you want to see my first impressions as well as a wear test, we're going to see how the products wear throughout the day, make sure to keep on watching. Getting started, the first thing that I'm going to try out is the new Wet n Wild color icon eyeshadow palette. I actually picked this up because this reminded me a ton of the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows. I definitely feel like Wet n Wild was missing out and wanted to go for something very similar to the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows, the packaging and everything, except these have 5 eyeshadows instead of the e.l.f. palettes only have 4 eyeshadows. I was browsing around Wet n Wild's website and it actually looks like they did a whole revamp of their eyeshadows as well as added a couple of different shades. I don't know if you guys remember these color icon palettes that I used to use on my channel all the time. I have Comfort Zone, which is a classic, and I also have Not a Basic Peach. These used to be the best eyeshadow that money could buy at the drugstore, honestly. These palettes were only around $4 or $5 and they were so good. Here's an up close of the 5-pan eyeshadow palette. I got mine in the shade Camo Flaunt, but there's a bunch of different color stories, and as I said, those like more iconic original ones like Walking on Eggshells is also available in this 5-pan format now. Let's jump on into the application. I'm going to start off with the light mid-tone transition shade in this palette. Definitely a little bit of kickback in the pan, if you guys can see. It's a little bit dusty, but nothing alarming. And honestly, that usually just means the shadows are going to be pigmented, which I always remember Wet n Wild shadows being really good. So hopefully they still are up to my standards. Wow, this shade is going on really, really seamlessly so far. And it's very pigmented. I only dipped in once and it has a lot of nice coverage on the eye. I'm going to take the same brown shade on a little bit of a denser brush just to pack on the color a little bit more. Yeah, there's definitely, I'll show you guys again the fallout. It's not horrible, but just to keep in mind, I know it bothers some people more than others. So far, this has a really, really great formula. I'm going to jump on down to the dark chocolatey shade now to deepen up the outer corner a little bit. This actually has a lot of pigment on the brush, if you guys can see. And this shade doesn't seem to have as much fallout as the lighter brown shade. So I'm just gonna start with this on my outer corner. Just doing a very simple and basic eye look, as I mentioned. I just kind of like to do basic looks when I'm testing out new eyeshadows. Right off the bat, I kind of feel like this darker shade is not as smooth and as pigmented and easy to apply as the mid-tone brown that I applied in my transition. I just switched over to more of a flat packing brush for my outer corner, and the shade is applying a lot smoother opposed to using more of like a rounded pencil brush. So Just another tip if you are going to use this eyeshadow palette. It's still not as good as the first shade that I used, and it's definitely not like the best dark chocolatey brown that I ever used either. But for a $3 palette, it's definitely not bad. And I actually think like the more I work with it and doing more blending, it's starting to look a little bit better. Now moving on to the lid, I actually think I want to take the gold shade, which if you look on the back of the packaging, shades 3 and also shades 4, which I don't know if it goes like this way is shade 4 or this way is shade 4. I'm not sure based on the diagram, but it says not for use around eye area. So I'm assuming they're just like pressed glitters or not eye safe glitters. So you could use these types of shades at your own discretion and whatever you guys feel comfortable using. So I'm just actually going to swatch the 3 shade options for my lid. So here they are. The first one is definitely more of a peachy rose gold sheen. The middle one is definitely like a loose glitter. I might even have to use a glitter glue or a spray with that one. And then the last one is more of a silvery taupe shade, which I honestly feel like the palette could be prettier without this if the silvery shade was replaced with another matte shade or maybe like a warmer orangey shade or something like that. The silvery shade in here definitely throws me off. Just to ensure that this shade sticks down and I don't make a mess all over my face, I'm going to use my NYX glitter primer. This isn't going to carve out my lid because it doesn't have any color to it, but I'm going to place the glitter glue down almost in kind of like a cut crease shape so the glitter will just stick to where I put the glue. I'm going to use the same brush to dip into the glitter. Wow, this is really chunky. I see why it says not for use around the eye area. Oh my gosh, that is so glittery. I think it looks really gorgeous on the eye, super fun for a special occasion or just a glam makeup look, whatever you guys want to wear it for. And I will say there's very, very minimum fallout, which is amazing. Definitely one of the best qualities that a glitter can have. I definitely still would not use this without some sort of glitter primer or glitter glue because I definitely think there would be a lot more fallout if I wasn't using the glitter glue. So much for my natural makeup look today. I really love how the eyeshadow is turning out. I love glitter on the eyes. I think it is just so fun to do a glam like this. I'm just a little bit concerned that my face makeup, when I'm testing out my face makeup, the eyes are gonna make it look like even more natural because like as I said, it is a tinted hydrator. I'm pretty sure this is going to be super light coverage, so I don't think the eye look is going to kind of match the base makeup. And B, I'm nervous now that there's going to be glitter on my face. It's going to interfere with my application, but I'm going to try my best to clean off the skin and prep it so there's minimal to no glitter left on the skin by the time I get around to applying the tinted hydrators. But I'm going to go ahead and throw on some mascara now so I can clean up the face and then we can move on to testing out the next product. Now I'm going to jump on into this. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. It is a tinted skin veil with sheer to medium coverage. It's oil-free and it's formulated with hyaluronic acid and squalene. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. When it comes to my base makeup, I am always a full coverage or nothing kind of girl, but I've seen a couple people test this out. I wanted to try it out for myself. I picked this up in the shade Light, which I think is going to be a little bit like orangey or cool tone on me. We will have to see, but this retails for $5. Again, I picked mine up on Amazon and you are getting 0.91 fluid ounces of product in this tube. I will definitely go ahead and pop up the full shade range of this on the screen. When I purchased off of Amazon, they only had a couple shades available and it was only showing me like 6 or 8 shades. I hope that's not the full shade range, but I will definitely put the shades on the screen right here so you guys can see what is available. I really don't have much experience with products like this. Hopefully this is a decent shade match for me. I don't know how to apply this. I don't know if I should use a sponge or a brush or my fingers, but I'm going to try my sponge first. It kind of smells like paint and it has a very, very thin watery formula, but it is water-based. Water is the first ingredient on the ingredient list. I'm definitely going into this with the mindset that this might not give me the coverage that I like on a day-to-day basis, but I still wanted to test it out and see what kind of coverage it would give me. There is one layer of the Tinted Hydrated on my face. It definitely does a nice job at evening out the skin tone. It's very sheer, but I feel like overall on this side, my skin looks a lot more even and glowy compared to this side of my face. You could see more discoloration. This side looks a lot more even, and it's definitely a little dark on me. I am curious to see how it applies with the brush. So I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty foundation brush. It is extremely glowy though. My face actually looks like it's wet. This is so pretty, you guys. This makes me excited for summer. Like, I could see this by the pool or by the beach, or like when you come back from the pool and you need to take a quick shower and get ready to go out to dinner, but you don't want to wear heavy makeup. This fits that vibe so well. And it's actually giving like okay coverage. It is a little dark and orangey on my skin. I didn't have high hopes for this because, as I said, I typically don't like this sheer look, but it's really pretty. And I actually just remembered that I totally forgot to prime the skin, but despite that, I still think that my skin looks really nice and smooth. I do think I'm going to take a little bit more just to see if we can build this up a little bit. I don't want to apply too much. I don't want to make it cakey. I actually do really like the sponge with this one, and you guys know I'm typically not a sponge. I mean brush. I said sponge. You guys know I'm typically not a brush type of person, but it applies really quick and easy with the brush. If you guys can see where I freshly applied it, it is lighter, so that tells me that this definitely does oxidize on the skin. Oh, I kind of wish it stayed like glassy and wet looking when you first apply it. It definitely dries down to have that semi-matte finish that it talks about. My first impression on the Tinted Hydrator is that I absolutely love it. This is going to be amazing for the warmer summer months when we don't want to wear makeup. With that being said, we still have to see how it holds up and stuff like that, how it's going to look throughout the day. But honestly, this is one of the best, like, your skin but better products that I've tried in a really long time. It was so incredibly easy to apply. And for not wearing primer, I think my skin looks really smooth as well. One negative thing about this, it is definitely oxidizing a lot. I will try to maybe insert a side-by-side of when I first applied it to now. My skin is definitely a couple shades darker and slightly orangey. I could see in the viewfinder as well as in person. The shade is pretty dark on me right now. The next product that I want to go ahead and test out from Wet n Wild is their new Mega Last Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer. So even though I do have more of a sheer base on right now, I always love a good full coverage underneath my eyes. On Amazon, Target, Walmart, other retailers, there's only like 4 to 6 shades available. I had to pick up the shade Light Honey. I don't think it's going to be perfect. I think it's going to be a little bit peachy. It says this formula is your new undercover agent, fully concealing imperfections without detection under the sunlight or spotlight. All day, ultra long lasting wear, and nourishes with licorice root extract, shea butter, and mango seed butter. It's a small paddle doe foot, different from what I'm used to, but I think it's a nice change from those large doe foot applicators that have been very consistent in concealers recently. Hopefully I got a light enough concealer shade to even everything out. It has a really nice thin and creamy formula. I'm just going to start off with a little bit right underneath the eye. One layer of the Incognito concealer is done. I definitely think it gives a nice medium coverage. It has a really great creamy thin formula that was super easy to blend out under the eye. If you guys can see the coverage difference, it's definitely giving me something. I'm gonna put a little more on to see if we could get the coverage to full, but the applicator just applies the product so smoothly under the eye. I apologize if my lighting is starting to get a little weird. It's like sunny, but it looks like it's actually about to thunderstorm outside right now. So the sun keeps going in and out and the sky is kind of dark. So if the lighting is weird, I do apologize for that. The concealer has a very mild scent to it. It just smells very fresh and clean, but the scent is actually not too overpowering, and you guys know I'm very, very picky with scents in my cosmetics, and this one's not too bad. There's the Incognito concealer applied. I really like how it looks. I think it looks smooth. I think it gives me nice coverage under my eyes. I do think that they went a little far by saying it was like super full coverage, incognito, you won't be able to see anything from underneath this. It's like almost full coverage, but it's definitely not the most full coverage concealer that I've ever tried. But it has a very, very nice high medium coverage. I think the finish is beautiful under the eye. It's not too dewy looking, it's not too matte, it just looks really natural. I just went ahead and finished up the rest of my face on camera. I added very minimal like bronzer and blush just because I didn't want to darken up my face too much, and I really just want to let the Tinted Hydrator shine. I did very little powder as well, so even though my eyes are intense, I kind of want to test this out maybe how I would normally wear it, just with like a little mascara, more for like a fresh face of makeup. I'm going to quickly finish up my under eyes, going back into the Camo Flaunt palette. I'm going to use the lighter brown shade and just run that underneath my lower lash line. The very last thing that we have to test out today is the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousse. This was the most like nude peachy brown shade that they had. Again, this is in the shade Fluffer Nutter. I picked this up for $3.99. Again, very affordable, and these intrigued me. I know I have a lot of lip products, but I really wanted to try this out. It says it's like a liquidy mousse with a soft matte finish that's buildable and blendable. So I'm guessing you could do like a more pigmented look, or you can kind of tap it out to get that soft, like smudgy, faded lip look effect that I feel like has been kind of trendy lately. This smells like something from my childhood, like a Lip Smackers or something, but it smells even more sweet than that. Oh wow. I always say that when I apply lip products. I start applying and then I go, oh wow. I don't know how I feel about this. The formula is definitely very comfortable. It's almost like a, what do you call it? Like a liquid or like a mousse to powder formula. It is extremely, extremely thin on the lips. I feel like it's almost a little bit hard to see. And when I rub my lips together, it kind of completely comes off in that spot, and I had to go over it again. So I don't know how I feel about this. What do you guys think? There's definitely color. It's definitely pretty, but I wish it had more color. Maybe now that it's dried down a little bit, I'll go ahead and do another coat. I don't know. I don't know if I really like this. I definitely think this is one that I could live without. It's not really my favorite type of lip formula. Those are my initial first impressions and try on of these new Wet n Wild products. Just to give you guys a really quick roundup before we jump on into the wear test, I definitely think the Tinted Hydrator is my favorite product that I tried out of these new ones, which, as I said, I actually thought I would like this the least, but I really love how this looks on the skin. It has really nice sheer to medium buildable coverage. I think I got it to like a light medium coverage, but it just looks so smooth on the skin. It was extremely effortless to apply, and the shade being too dark for me aside, this is such a nice formula. I hope it holds up well throughout the day. We will have to see, but definitely my favorite thing that I tried out in this video. The eyeshadow palette as well as the Incognito concealer are tied for me. These definitely both are really nice products. I think the eyeshadow formula is really great. The matte's applied smoothly. The glitter is super intense and fun and easy to apply. Definitely one of the better drugstore eyeshadow formulas out there. The longer that I have on this Incognito concealer, the more that I am liking it. I just took a quick look at my under eyes. I think they look really, really smooth. It has nice coverage, not 100% full coverage, but I think if you're looking for like a really great day-to-day concealer that's going to give you a high medium coverage, I would definitely go ahead and check this out. So I actually think I would say the Tinted Hydrator is my favorite. Then I like the Incognito Concealer. The eyeshadows come in third. And then as you guys just saw, the Cloud Pout is in last place for me right now. Definitely the least impressive. I think maybe this would be a good lip product if you are into that more like sheer ombre lip, or if you want something just to apply to the center of your lips. I think this could be really fun. It smells amazing. I love the sweet scent of this, but this like thin moussey formula is a little confusing to me. We are going to go ahead and jump on into the wear test now. It is actually almost 2 o'clock now. I actually started filming this video around noon, so we are going to call the first check-in time noon. As always, I'm going to try to get at least 8 hours in, so I will come back later for my end of day wear test, and I will come back in between if I start to notice any drastic changes, or if I want to update you guys on anything about these new Wet n Wild products. Hi guys, I am back to do a check-in for the new Wet n Wild products. It's actually only 6:15. I'm in a little bit of a different location. I'm on the other side of my room filming with natural lighting because we actually lost power, so I cannot use my studio lights, and soon the sun is going to go down and I won't be able to film any wear test. I don't know when the power is going to come back, so I figured before it got dark out and it was just dark in here and I couldn't film anymore, I would come back and update you guys on these products because I really wanted to get a wear test in for this video. 6 hours later, the Tinted Hydrated is still my favorite product. It stopped oxidizing eventually. I didn't think that this was going to be a product that would hold up for as long as it did, but I still think it looks so nice on the skin. It is giving me such a beautiful glow. Again, I'm so sorry for the lighting, you guys. I feel like the lighting is off, but it looks so good. It did not fade, and keep in mind, I'm not wearing any primer at all either today. The Tinted Hydrator just did not break down at all. It is seriously exactly where I put it, and it looks so good 6 hours later. And so does the Incognito Concealer actually. The longer that I'm wearing this, the more that I like this. I will say, I think if you have very dry under eyes, you might not like this too much. It's like semi-natural, but it also does have a semi-matte finish. I feel like the lines underneath my eyes are just a little teeny tiny bit more emphasized than they normally are. But I think if you have like normal to combo skin or even oily under eyes, I think you will really like this Incognito Concealer. It does have a nice high medium coverage for day to day, and I think it looks beautiful. It lasted really nicely under the eyes thus far, and it looks just so smooth. I really enjoyed how my base makeup looked again today, and again, no primer, which is very impressive. When it comes to the other two products, I do really like the eyeshadows. I think the glitter glue started to crease. I'm definitely getting some creasing on my eyes, which typically doesn't happen to me day to day with eyeshadows, but I don't want to write off the palette right away because again, I did use a glitter glue, which I don't typically use, so it could be that extra layer of product as well on my eye. To me, the most impressive thing about this eyeshadow palette is definitely the glitter. It just stuck to the eye so well. Usually when I wear glitter, there's glitter fallout all over my face by this point, but there's like maybe 1 or 2 specks of glitter on my face right here. It's just like so impressive how well the glitter stayed on my eyes, and if you guys can see the creasings like right in there. I love little palettes like this. They're also super nice and travel friendly. The last thing is the Cloud Pout. I just don't like this. Definitely just skip right over this. When I stopped filming earlier, this literally came off in like less than 20 minutes, and my lips are so dry. It just faded really weird. It dried down and it was just not comfortable. I don't know, it just didn't do anything. It wasn't full of color, but it wasn't glossy. It wasn't long lasting. I just feel like it didn't serve me any purpose on my lips today. So for that reason, I would definitely, it's getting dark again. If you want a good lip product from Wet n Wild, their $1.99 lipsticks are really great. Their liquid catsuit liquid lipsticks, the glossy ones, are really amazing. My favorite shade is Send Nudes. So I would definitely skip over this one. It just didn't do anything at all. All right, you guys, so that is going to complete this video. Those are my thoughts on some new Wet n Wild makeup. Again, I'm so sorry I had to finish up this wear test in natural lighting. I hope the footage was okay. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video and spending time with me today. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.